This is Rich Cramer with Big Mountain Enduro, and this is the Beyond the Ride podcast. This season, we'll be checking in with mountain bike athletes, brands, and individuals doing big things for the sport of mountain biking. Podcast number 6, getting better and better each week. This week is going to be a good one. We got Isabella Naughton joining us. She's a young rider with Liv, riding for Liv Collective this year, I believe. And we're going to figure out everything. She's a young female rider out there killing it like all of them. Out of Flagstaff, Arizona, I believe. And I think we got her right now. What's up, Isabella Naughton? How are you? Look at there.
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. Perfect. Absolutely great. How are you today? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm doing well. It's finally warming up in Flagstaff, so it's nice to be outside again.
Was it cold this winter like every place else out west?
Yeah, and we've been getting just a crazy amount of snow.
Yeah,
but I mean, it used to be normal, and then for the last few years, it hasn't been as normal. And now we've just gotten so much snow, we've been having to shovel the roof because we're getting cracks in the ceiling. But
yeah,
so
that's a real thing.
It's been wild.
I mean, it's been all over the news, and it's mind blowing to see that these waves of cells are coming in, these big storm systems, and just dropping so much snow. And then just maybe like a couple of days clear, and then a whole nother system on top of it, it looks like.
That's been the thing. Normally it warms up in Flagstaff in between storms. So the snow gets to melt, but it hasn't been doing that this time. But it's good. We need the water really bad.
That's right.
I don't know if it's weird in regards to global warming, but we do really need the moisture.
Yeah, that is weird. It is weird how it comes in big cycles of drought and then just extreme snow and snow melt. And it'll be interesting to see how much of the snow out there sticks around this year once everybody does start mountain biking, and how much is left at elevation.
Yeah, a lot of ours has been melting just because it's been in the 50s this week. Normally it goes away pretty quick. I just hope our forest doesn't catch on fire again this year.
Yeah. Are you?
It's not funny, but
yeah. Do you ski a lot too during the winter?
Yeah, I actually grew up ski racing, so I used to ski a lot, and then I kind of was over it for a few years. But I've been skiing a lot this year. I'm more interested in the powder. You know, I had like 5 days a week training gates and groomers. And so now I don't care to just like go up there when it's super busy, but powder and backcountry days are super fun.
That's awesome. That seems to be a trend, I think, with some racers who start early, kind of get, the better they get, the more terrain they get exposed to, and the POW days are always out there for them. The free riding stuff is great.
I think totally. And I think growing up ski racing really, really helped with that. I started skiing when I was like 2. So, but
that's crazy.
Just being able to like rip around with the, like all of my 10-year-old friends at the time, doing our own thing or whatever. So I think that really helped me be able to just go ski anything really. I mean, I'm not going off big cliffs, but
Yeah. Another, I like to watch Michelle Parker and some of her video stuff. She's just a ripper and a good role model for the women. I got 2 little girls myself, so I love watching, you guys take on the sport and just represent and charge big stuff. And so people like you, Michelle Parker, and tons of others just set great examples for the up and coming generations.
Yeah. Totally. I'm a big fan of Michaela Schifrin, so
gotcha.
I think
and then
she's a super good role model.
If you were ski racing like growing up and then in school out there, how did that work? Did you guys have a ski club? Were you part of, or were you like a sponsored rider or racer at that point?
So we have a ski team, the Flagstaff Alpine ski team. It's not a part of like a school or anything. So my 7th grade year, I was actually full online school to go ski racing. I did have a couple just sponsors at the time that were cool when you're 12 years old, getting some free stuff from Atomic and companies like that. And then my 8th grade year, I was in a middle school that let me leave early on Wednesday and Friday as a PE credit. And then all throughout high school, I was kind of doing online once I started to get into mountain biking and for skiing too. I know one semester, like my sophomore, junior year, I just went to school for one class in the morning, like 1 hour, and then the rest was online. So that was nice. Flagstaff seems to be really accommodating for that kind of things, but I did have to write a lot of letters for missing too much school at the end of the year.
Well, that was going to actually be one of my big questions for you, is how supportive is like the education community because I'm sure they see it a lot in the mountain communities. You know, these kids are younger and younger and going to more races and more races. So it's pretty cool. I've heard other stories of teachers just being really supportive of kids doing something that might not be so normal to others.
Yeah, no, I mean, the teachers were always awesome. There was some who really got it. And then I did have some teachers that didn't get it as much, unfortunately, but we made it work. But I feel like, I don't know, maybe I helped the school system going through. I think they finally started to understand that, like, I could still have good grades, even though I was missed, because the amount of days you could miss, I think a semester was like 10 days. I would miss usually considerably more than that. Even if you were just late, that was considered like a missed day or whatever. So you had to write like appeal letters, I guess, to be able to get credit for the year. So
yeah, I found that interesting. Hearing that on some of the younger riders last year, just kind of overhearing the kids about doing schoolwork on the road or having to get back to class or something like that in the fall. So, were you mountain biking?
Yeah, we had a lot of late.
Sorry.
I didn't start liking riding my bike till my sophomore year of high school.
Gotcha.
So I ski riding. I did not care to ride a bike uphill at all. Both my parents raced and they really wanted me to ride, but I think it was good. And what I always try to express to parents is don't force kids too much to do things, because they'll end up liking it if they're going to end up liking it. I mean, I was always given like money, I guess. We had a hill called Dollar Hill that if I pedaled up it, I'd get $1. And then eventually when I wanted an iPhone, we have Eldon Mountain in Flagstaff that if I rode under it in under an hour, I could get an iPhone. Yes. My parents were thinking it would take me a few tries, and I ended up doing it in the first try. So they always had little bribes for me, which maybe helped.
That's cool. That's a good idea. I'll take note of that.
Yeah, Dollar Hill.
Dollar Hill.
But no, I did not like riding my bike.
That's too funny. And then what clicked to when you did start like riding a bike and then noticed you might have a future in doing that?
I think like the end of summer going into my sophomore year of high school, I went to Angel Fire for a BME. Or no, it wasn't a BME. It was a different series. But I went with my mom and I raced the junior girls class, and I ended up winning it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I can ride chairlifts up. And so I think that was kind of the main thing. Is that from? That's
from your first race as a junior. Yeah, that's it. And you took first in every stage.
Every stage. So no, I think that one helped. I was like, this is kind of fun. Yeah. And then I started racing NICA with my high school. And I think just riding with a bunch of kids my age helped a lot. And that was super cool. And I'm just a competitive person. So.
Well, it tells. I mean, if you look at your like race history and stuff, it looks like you just dove right into it and did quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your first year with 1, 2, 3, 4 first place trophies. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, it was fun.
That's
and my
awesome.
first EWS in 2017, I cried at that race.
Yeah.
I could not figure out sharp corners and the difference in rear brake and front brake. And I went over the bars a few times in practice and I cried.
Trip.
I was like, I don't want to be here. This is dumb. And then I figured it out and it was fun.
You obviously figured it out. Yeah. And it obviously is fun to you. Or you would have found something else to do.
Oh, totally. I think I would have finished my nursing degree by now and been doing something else.
Did you finish your nursing degree?
No, I've been taking online classes, like the prereq classes, but I won't go to nursing school until I'm more, I don't know, who knows when I'll go to nursing school, but one day I plan on going to nursing school. It's just harder with like clinicals and stuff to be doing both.
Yeah, that's a lot of commitment for sure. Hats off to the whole medical profession for sticking with all that stuff. My brother's a doctor as well, and just to see the hours he raked up in medical school, it was unreal.
Yeah, I won't be a doctor. That's for sure.
Me either. There's no way.
Too much school for me.
Yeah, no way. I get it too. Were you? Did I read somewhere that you were in college or looked at somewhere in college in North Carolina?
Oh, yes. I was going to go to Lees-McRae College.
Okay.
I actually, 2019, I packed up my car and drove to Winter Park for nationals, raced nationals, and then drove to North Carolina by myself, parked at the airport in North Carolina, whatever. I don't even remember where I flew out of. Parked at the airport, flew to Whistler for an EWS, flew back and moved into the dorms at Lees-McRae College for school. I was going to race for their cycling team and go to nursing school there. But through the lines of that, Liv asked me to do some more EWS racing at the end of the season and the whole series for 2020, which we know didn't happen. But so that was an awkward conversation with the head coach, and I said, I think I'm going to go home and I'm going to go chase the professional racing dream. And I'm glad I made that decision. But I felt bad because I committed to a school and then kind of changed my mind. But I think it worked out.
And growing up through that age and stuff, your mind does change so many times. Like, I think I went to 4 schools in 6 years trying to find something that was going on, something that really interests me. And if it didn't interest me, then that school was I just didn't do well academically and just kind of found something else to do. And then I found a small school in West Virginia and it's called Davis and Elkins College. And it was right near Snowshoe Mountain, Canaan Valley, and Timberline. So it was 3 mountains right there.
Okay.
And they had a recreation management program that somehow caught my interest. And then we all worked at the mountains. So it was more of a learning experience of the mountains itself. So
that's fun. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think college shouldn't be pushed on everybody, but it's always good to have a backup plan because you can't race bikes forever.
But these days it's so weird too. It seems that college, you can learn a lot elsewhere than just college, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And college is so expensive. It's kind of ridiculous how expensive college is.
Yeah, for sure. And I've seen it go both ways. I've seen people kind of like my brother, who used college and medical school to just hone in on something very, very specific. And, I've seen other people in professions and like law school do that as well. And that stuff has worked. But more often, you see the young kids go into college and just kind of float around for 4 years, get out and still float around.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I feel like when it's just pushed on you right out of high school, but you have no idea what you want to get a degree in. One, you're just wasting money. And 2, So I don't know.
I think
either. It's good. I think more schools are trying not to, like more high schools are giving other options than just college, which I think is a good thing.
That's cool. But I agree completely. So what happened then? So then now you're out of college and full blown with Liv factory at this time?
Yeah, with the Liv Factory Racing, and the plan was to race a whole EWS season in U21 category in 2020, which was my last year in the U21 class. And then obviously we all know that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then I still was able to do a few races in 2020, and I got my first pro win. I see it there at Winter Park.
Yep.
At the BME, which was super awesome. That was a good experience for me. And then 2021, I went on and raced the whole EWS season and didn't have too much expectations for myself other than just trying to meet goals.
Mm-hmm. And then, and that's really cool. And then did you have an injury at some point that I heard about too in last season or the year before?
Yeah, 2022 was kind of awful for me.
2022. Okay.
I think, 2022. I hurt my hand in Ironton practicing.
Okay.
I used Ironton as a race to get ready for the EWS, and then I hurt myself. So I didn't race the first half of the EWS season. And then I went into Durango, which was a very hard race to do after not riding very much.
Yeah, Durango's huge, kind of. It's big.
Yeah. And I don't know. I was pretty happy with my results in Durango after not riding very much and coming back from that injury. And then I went to Nationals in Winter Park, and it says did not start, but I technically started the first stage.
Is that where the injury happened?
Yeah, I broke my ankle halfway down the first stage in Winter Park, which was like the downhill course, and the stage one at the Enduro was the same.
Yeah.
Off a drop that I had ridden 100 times in practice before, and I didn't even crash. I literally just got kind of wonky off of it, and I put my foot down, and it was enough to break my ankle. So there went the rest of my season.
That's funny.
So I'm hoping that just stuff.
Is that the picture?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. The broken foot.
I got pretty lucky though. I didn't tear any tendons. I was just on crutches for 2 weeks and then in a boot for, I think, 4 or 5 more weeks after that. So.
Gotcha. And now are you fully healed from that, or is that still kind of lingering around?
No, it feels really good. I mean, it gets sore, but I feel like it's anything like my wrist still gets sore. And anytime you break something, I think it always is kind of, especially when the weather changes.
Yeah.
I feel like when it gets colder, it feels funny.
Yeah. That's fine.
But no, I feel 100%. And I mean, I'm wearing an ankle brace, but that's just preventative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great.
For when I ride, wearing an ankle brace when I ride.
And no bother skiing, or is it better when it's locked in the boot like that?
I think I've actually talked about that. I think it's better when it's super tight in the boot, but
yeah,
sure. It's not really sore after riding or anything. So I think it's doing pretty good.
Good. And then, so what else is going out? What else is going on in Arizona? You mentioned you were just at a mountain bike festival in Sedona.
Yeah. I was at the Sedona Mountain Bike Festival this weekend. It was a little funky because Sedona happened to get a foot of snow Wednesday night or something, like right before the festival.
Yeah.
And there was people shoveling and trying to make it happen. And unfortunately they canceled Friday and just had the festival Saturday, Sunday. They had the bike park open on Saturday for people to ride, but it was recommended to stay off trails just because they were still super wet and snowy. But Sunday we were able to do a Liv and giant group ride with like 20 people came to it. So that was awesome. It was super fun.
That's good. Is that a festival that you normally go to?
The weather.
Is that a festival that you normally go up to? Yeah.
Yeah, I try to if I'm here. Liv is usually there. So I like to to see everybody and get to do group rides or whatever when it doesn't snow the day before.
Yeah. And so you're still with Liv and then planning to race this season?
Yeah. So I signed with Liv for another year because of my injuries last year. I decided with the support from Liv to kind of take a step back. So for 2023, I won't be on their factory team, but I'll be on their collective kind of privateer team. Mm-hmm. And just, I'm going to race the full BME series. And I'm going to do a couple EWSs probably towards the end of the year. But that's the plan so far.
That's good. That's a good plan. So we'll see you at all the BMEs. That's great.
All of them. I'm excited.
Yes.
I haven't I don't know if I've ever raced a full BME series.
That's cool. It's a tough thing to do. It's a tough thing, especially when the pro riders try to mix in other races and other series.
Yeah.
So it's really cool when we do see the pros come out and sign up for the whole year. That's really fantastic.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. And my one hope is that it doesn't overlap with nationals, any of the races, but I still have yet to see a announcement for where and when nationals is, I think. So
Gotcha.
But we'll see.
We'll see. And then 2 new venues we got this year. We've got Mountain Nebo, Arkansas. Have you heard about that? Have you seen anything from that?
I've been looking at it a little bit and just kind of what you guys have been saying on the podcast. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it'll be awesome because Arkansas seems to be stoked about bikes.
They are.
Didn't you head up there?
Yeah, we were there. And it was really cool. It was really, really unique. And it's kind of got the Ironton vibe to it of an East Coast kind of mountain they have there. It's a huge state park and it's on the mountain. I guess the mountain is the state park and it goes forever. It's in the beautiful, beautiful wilderness. And there's old houses up on top of the mountain. Like I guess people used to build houses back there on top back in the day to kind of get to the cooler weather, better air to breathe.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting. So they got this, it's got an old kind of state park feel to it up top with a visitor center, swimming pools and big parking areas. And it's going to be, cool. Yeah, it's going to be really cool looking when everybody is up top and we get all the vendors up there and all the teams up top.
Have to do a drone shot.
Oh yeah, we will for sure. We actually had a meeting yesterday about a new media guy that's coming on with us and some people know. And so he's very psyched about it. His name's Austin. I forget his company name. I'm sorry, buddy. But I know they're coming. I know they're coming to almost all the venues, I think. So it's going to be cool to see what kind of new footage he brings. So I heard
cool. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. And then
is there going to be camping there?
Yeah, there's different types of camping too. There's these kind of rustic lodge campings sites with old kind of wooden lodges looking things, cabins, I guess. And then there seemed to be definitely a spot that they have set up for the people traveling in vans and stuff. They've got a location to camp. So I know a lot of people hit the road in the van life thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of flying. It's not very trustworthy, I feel like, these days.
God, it's a mess.
But that's a long drive for me. So yeah.
Yeah, it is a long drive. There wasn't really an easy way to fly into it either.
I know, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, so I couldn't, and I came in from Asheville and yeah, I didn't know whether to drive or fly, and I drove last time. It was like 10 hours maybe, but yeah, with the airline industry, it's crazy. Like I just came back from Steamboat with my family and like a 6-hour travel day turned into like a 19-hour travel day.
I know. I had so many times in 2021 flying to Europe. My bags would get lost. Like I didn't have my bag or my bike for a week. And luckily had another bike there, and I had one kit and it was muddy and I would shower like in my kit so it would be clean for the next day. It was awful.
Hey, I guess that's the life of a pro racer on tour, so to speak, you know.
I mean, you can't really complain, but
there you go.
Sometimes.
How did you have another bike?
Complaining. I just call it venting.
Yes.
I had a bike.
Yeah.
I had a bike over there just because being with the team, they have spare stuff kind of overseas.
Gotcha.
For that reason, or for breaking a bike or whatever.
Boy, that's when it's nice to be with a team, you know, that can handle this and jump on it when stuff like this does happen. I mean,
no, they're awesome, and I can't complain because I know not everybody gets this opportunity, but to be able to be supported overseas is a very big stress reliever.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowing that the travel kind of dilemmas can be handled and troubleshooting can take place when it happens.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things last year. I was telling Colton about it when we talked, was when all the BME guys get there, we get there like a week early to set up and stuff. And then everybody comes in with such different and random travel stories from, whatever mishaps they might have, or being on the road for 3 weeks and looking for a shower. And just,
right. I know.
It's the best. And
I have a motorhome that I'm hoping to bring to most races.
Okay, that's cool. You're into that then? Are you?
Because I'm scared of flying.
Yeah. Get trapped in an airport forever and ever.
I know.
And then did you see this guy?
I also like just.
Did you see this guy on the
Sorry,
airplane?
I keep interrupting you.
It's okay. Don't worry. Did you see this lunatic on the plane who like tried to storm the cabin recently in the last couple of days?
Yes, I saw that.
What? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if driving across the country is any safer, but I'll take that chance.
I know. It's so crazy. Like just what you could encounter these days on the planes. And
I know.
In the shape of people, and I've been guilty of this myself once or twice, but the shape of people getting on these flights just totally bonked out of their mind on alcohol and like sleeping pills and whatever.
And then people just aren't nice anymore either. Like, it's crazy the stuff you see. I'm like, wow, you really are talking like that to somebody who's just trying to help you.
Yeah, it is.
I know airlines aren't angels either. So airline companies. So
yeah, it's a mixed bag. Rob, the new owner of BME, he's a pilot for Frontier. And every time I see him, I have to just drill him with 100 questions of, tell me some good stories. Anything from like UFOs. I want to know if you saw UFOs up there. And, and then I love hearing like stories about air marshals. Are they really on there? Are they going to be on there? Do you know if they're going to be on there?
Right. Yeah. No, I'm sure he has so many stories. Just listening, I think he told like one the podcast last time, so I'm sure he has 100,000 more.
Yeah, we might have to do a separate pilot podcast stories with him once in a while. Just
probably.
Yeah. So back to the schedule, back to Enduro schedule. I want to ask you about the next stop. BME is at Sunrise in Arizona.
Sunrise, yeah.
Are you
I'm
familiar?
excited about that one.
That's cool. I am too. I think a lot of people are excited about it, just because a lot of people haven't been there yet. But the registration is looking really good for a lot of people showing up.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in Arizona are just stoked to have a BME in Arizona. People want to go. I know a lot of people have wanted to try Enduros, but sometimes there are long ways to go, and so I think this will be a cool one for Arizona people to try out. And No, Sunrise, it's going to be gnarly. That's not your normal bike park.
Okay.
But
Gnarly like how? Tell me.
Well, it's more raw, I feel like, than a lot of bike parks. Like a lot of bike parks are pretty groomed and stuff like that. Whereas this is more just kind of like raw cut trails in the bike park. But I know they've been doing a lot of work on the trails there. So we'll see what it looks like.
How far away is that from you?
I think it's like 2.5 or 3 hours or something from Flagstaff. I'm not entirely sure. I've been there a couple times, but it's been a few years.
I gotcha.
My boyfriend broke his back there last year, so we're not gonna repeat that one.
God, has he recovered from that?
Yeah, he's doing a lot better now. We were kind of on the injury train last year, one after the other.
I mean, if you're both going to be laid up.
Awful. Right. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yep. And then
no more breaking bones.
No, yeah, let's be done with that and get you back on schedule. 5 BMEs,
Totally.
BMEs. You can do it.
Yes, that's the goal.
What so with Liv Collective this year, what bike are you going to be on? Which model are you going to be riding this year?
We'll see.
All right. Well, listen, if you won't tell me about that, we'll find out sooner or later. You have to let us know when it comes out, the review.
I will. Soon.
Do you know a lot about Liv bikes and the different models they offer?
Yeah. So I've been previously racing a lot on the Hail is what it was called. They don't make that bike anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It came as a 27.5 with 170 mils of travel in the front and 160 in the rear. I set it up as a mullet, so I had a 29er front wheel, and I rode it 160 front and rear, which has been an awesome bike. I've loved it. And then I have a trail bike, the Liv Intrigue. That one's 140, 125 mils of travel, 29er. So that's an awesome trail bike.
Nice.
And then their cross country bike is the Peak. And then I have an e-bike and a road bike, and they got a lot of good stuff, especially since they make it for women, which I think is my favorite part.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm totally intrigued with Liv biking, and I might actually have 2 models that might have heard of and might not heard of. So I want you to see if you can name these 2 models here.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Those are my little girls' bikes.
For not being
I got you.
Awesome.
So listen, yes. We got the Liv, the Liv 20-inch STP. And the Liv Adore
STP.
16.
Okay.
Yes. So they're the Adore and the STP.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They're my little girls.
Awesome.
Yeah. So my 8-year-old.
I want a basket.
You got a basket. You need a basket.
No, I need one.
Yeah, I bet you don't. Well, actually, that's the biggest complaint right now is I've got to find a basket for the other bike because the girls argue about it. It's a trip.
And streamers.
Yeah, it's a trip. Well, it did actually, in all fairness, Liv, it did come pretty decked out. It did have streamers, and we've taken those off since. I'm not sure why, but
what the heck? Streamers make you go faster. I need some of those too.
All right. Well, listen, you get your bike ready and reveal it, and then I'll have my girls on, and they'll reveal their bike to you, and we'll see. Yeah, my little girl, it's funny, man. My little 5 years old, her name is actually Liv. So. Oh,
really?
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, then it's the perfect bike for her.
I know. Well, yeah, in our local bike shop, right down the road, Asheville Bike Company, they do carry all the Liv stuff. So it's a perfect fit. Yeah, when I can walk in with my 2 little girls and let them actually pick a bike up and pick one out off the floor, that that they get to be a part of, and they get to sit on it and not just order it online.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, that's an awesome way to do it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And with Liv, do you guys does I know Liv is all about doing the women's bikes and the women's, and do you guys do a lot of clinics for the younger kids when you're on the roads, or do you guys take part in the community in that way?
So that's something that I've been trying to figure out a way to like take the motorhome and travel and like put on some sort of clinics and things like that. But Liv does have the Liv Ladies All Ride, which is a group of women that go around and do clinics for females.
Yeah.
But then I know like Liv is always at the Rome festivals, which are, I think there's 3 in a few different places. I know one's in Sedona. But Rome Fest is an all women's festival for mountain bikes, and Liv is usually at those.
It's really cool. It's really cool to see. I can't wait to get my girls. They're going to come to a couple stops this tour, and they're actually really into it. They watch all the highlights with me and like watch some pictures, and I get to show them all these different venues that we go to. And so I'm like really, really hoping it just really sparks them into the whole bike riding thing. Cause I'm not pushing it either. I just kind of,
yeah.
Dollar
Hill. Just kidding.
Yeah. We'll get the Dollar Hill. We will. Wait till I tell her that. Because right now,
but that'd be cool.
I was going to say, like right now, we just, we do the bungee thing. We have a bungee cord. She makes me still pull her. So.
Oh, perfect. That's even better.
Well, that's cool.
But now you can have the Dollar Hill, and so then she can start making some money.
Yeah. And trust me, that she's all about that for sure. She's all about that. Yeah, she's the
factory rider at 8 years old.
Yeah. There we go. She'll be like, Dad, you can get stuff? They're going to give me stuff? Yes. Yeah.
No, but bring her around at the races so we can, or bring them both around at the races so we can all say hi and hang out and do fun stuff.
Yeah, we will. I will for sure. And that's another thing we're going to try to really work on this summer with a lot of the riders and a lot of the pro riders is kind of giving back to some fans and younger riders. So we're talking about maybe doing some autograph sessions and stuff like that to really expose and get the pro riders the kind of the acknowledgement that I think that you guys are due.
Well, yeah, I think that's really cool. One for us because it's fun, but 2 for everyone else, especially younger riders, because they just get to, and mountain biking, the mountain biking industry is so cool because you could be the best pro rider, but a kid comes up and wants to talk to you. And usually the pro riders have no problem chit-chatting, which I think is super awesome.
Yeah, that's very true. And especially in the biking industry, man, it's just so you guys make yourself so available, and it's I keep saying again, it's like no other sport where you get to actually ride the same courses as the pros, even as an amateur, and even watch and observe some of these pros, how they go about practicing, whether or not they GoPro their footage, how do they, the whole thing of just watching, what the elite athletes do. And of course you can't help but just become a better rider and picking up stuff.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's super awesome.
Yeah. What, so do you have, amongst the other girls, do you have, a little pack that you guys ride with? Like who are some of the pros that you enjoy watching ride?
Yeah. I mean, I think most of the pro women all like each other. We usually are good at laughing and on transfers and stuff like that. But I think my favorite BME riding buddies over the years have been Leah Westerman, Lauren Bingham, Portia, all those girls, they bring a different level of fun. And I think that's super important because racing shouldn't be too serious.
That's right. And it's very obvious when it's very, very obvious when you guys are out there racing each other. But if we go by this, it says
Kara. She's going to be mad if she watches that and I didn't say her name.
Carolyn, your number one nemesis is if we're going by rootsandrain.com, who does a great job of keeping all these stats, by the way. Yeah, Carolyn.
I know. I didn't even know. Nemesis. That's mean.
Nemesis.
Why can't it say friend?
Maybe I'll tell them that they need to get a new section in there. Nemesis.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I know. And hey, you only have one nemesis though, so some of the other racers.
I haven't made everybody mad yet.
No.
Only Kara.
Maybe I'll get her on. Maybe let's look up, see who her nemesis is.
Oh man. Yeah, you got to get her on when we can talk about nemesis.
What if you come up as hers?
She has 6. Oh, look, it's all of us. and I'm the first one.
You're the first one. You're regularly within 3% of Kara. That's hilarious.
Oh man.
I hope I don't start a fight on this podcast. That was the first time I've shared.
You would probably start a fight with the boys, but the girls seem to be better.
Maybe that's going to be my new thing on the podcast. I'm gonna start looking up everybody's nemesis and seeing how
that's hilarious. I had no idea that was on there. That's funny.
I know. It's a trip. What else you got going on that you can tell me about?
I don't know. What do you want to know? Let's
talk the motorhome.
Okay. Yeah, I bought it last year from my mom, actually. She wanted to sell it, and I was like, hey, I'll take it. And it was kind of like an idea was to like maybe throw some sponsors on there, wrap it, or I don't know, just something. And that would be something I use maybe if I wanted to start doing clinics or things like that. It's pretty cool. Have you ever seen the Fun Movers? That's the motorhome name.
No, I have not.
They have like a garage in the back of it enclosed, and then the front is a like the living area. But it's like a motorhome. You drive it. It's not attached. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's those garages back there, which is kind of nice to be able to store stuff.
I see. Okay.
So it's big, but I plan on taking that to hopefully most of the races.
That's really cool. So your mom had this motorhome, and then obviously they were well traveled with this. Yeah,
they had bought it in I want to say 17. And we took it to a few high school races, and then it never really got used.
Yeah.
It has like 25,000 miles on it, and it's a 2001.
Okay.
So
yeah.
It hasn't been used very much, but no, I'm excited, and I was glad that she sold it to me for a little less than she would have sold it to anyone else.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. So that's a serious rig then. So that's got space for everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any slide outs or anything.
Yeah.
But it's longer, on the longer side for sure.
Are you into motocross and stuff like that as well? Side by sides or any of that fun desert stuff out there?
Yeah. My dad actually, he raced like supercross and outdoor motocross and stuff. Back in his racing days. And so I've always been around dirt bikes. He put me in off-road cars. Yeah, that was a vintage race on one of the vintage dirt bikes I was around before I was born.
Oh, that's cool. Was
I had
that
never done a dirt bike race before. They have like, my dad got all into vintage dirt bikes and bought way too many and was trying to like restore some of them. But
yeah, that's cool. So he was a motocross rider as well?
Yeah, he was. And then he was racing off-road cars. And so I got into like the junior class of off-road truck racing, short course. And I think he put me in one of those instead of a dirt bike because it has a roll cage.
Yeah, that's a dad move. That's good. Good job, Dad.
Yeah.
I can understand. And then how was that?
I do ride.
I was going to say, how was that? How was the experience of actually doing the cars?
Oh, that was a blast. It costs a lot of money to go off-road truck racing with. You just got to find the sponsors with a lot of money. But I mean, it just goes back to racing and being competitive. And obviously race cars, skis, and bikes are three different things, but a race line's a race line. And I think it definitely contributed to helping me be successful on the bike.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like a lot of people use the motocross as just such a good training because you're always at speed and I must get you so comfortable with speed.
Yeah, no, totally. Dirt bikes have been, I do ride them a decent amount in the off season. My dad actually got the timber sled kit conversion. I don't know if you've seen those, but they're like, the snowmobiles or the track. It's like a snowmobile, but it's a dirt bike. The tracks with the dirt bike.
Yeah.
And we took those to Bryan Head the other weekend, and that was so much fun. It's crazy, just like floating on snow, but riding a dirt bike is pretty cool.
That is cool. So did he convert a bunch of them? Like you all had them? There was a bunch of you guys out there together riding them?
He has two, and then we borrowed one of his friends because there was three of us going out there. So
how far is Bryan Head from you?
5 hours, 4.5.
Have you mountain biked there before? Where you weren't there last season?
No, I've never ridden there. Which is surprising because it's not far. But I'm excited to do it this year.
Yes, you will. You'll love it. You'll love it. It was crazy. It was one of the craziest places I've ever ridden a bike. It was pretty chunky stuff. It was wild.
Yeah, we went skiing there for New Year's, and the people, we were there with like Shane Leslie. Do you know him? He races BME. And they were just saying like that it looks so different with all the snow on it, and like some of the drops or like the steeper sections of like the downhill course I don't know, one of the stages. They were just saying it looks way scarier when there's no snow.
Yeah. Well, especially with all the amounts of snow that's up there now, I can't even imagine like trying to look at those drops and even visualize it in the snow.
Yeah, no, it looks a lot different in the winter, but it's funny when you've been somewhere for biking and then you can pick out like a certain spot when there's snow.
I did the exact same thing at Big Sky this year. I found a tree line called Soul Hole. I don't know if you remember that one, but yeah, Soul Hole.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was on the BME course of 2021 or 20. Can't remember which one. And then I actually found it on the snowboard, and it's cool. It was like a blue kind of cruiser towards the bottom with lots of rollers in it. So yeah, it was kind of neat to duck in the trees and actually find the trail.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I end up going to a lot of places to race bikes that I was that I used to ski race at. So it's just funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever do the downhill racing part of the mountain biking as well?
A little bit. In 2018, I went to nationals and raced enduro and downhill as a junior. And I won that junior downhill there in snowshoe, which was super fun. I really enjoyed downhill, but I've kind of just stuck to enduro for the most part.
Yeah. Is there a huge difference between the two that really sticks out for you? Why you prefer one over the other?
I like enduro because you get to see more and you have more timed runs. Like you don't just go somewhere for a week and practice one trail and then flat in your race run and that's it. At least like with enduro, you can kind of, usually in the pro when you flat, there's not a whole lot of hope for coming back, but you can still like continue on and finish the race day and still have fun versus downhill. You just get one run and that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I feel like downhill should be like ski racing where downhill or ski racing, you get 2 runs and it's a combined time or whatever, or an average time. I feel like downhill mountain bike should be like that as well. At least you get 2 runs then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And now the enduro part of racing, like the climbing, doesn't bother you anymore? That's not something you dread?
I still don't like to climb, but no. I like it enough to get to the top for the fun stuff.
Yes. The motivation's at the top.
Yes.
That's cool. Well, listen, I think I'm going to let you go and say thank you so much for giving me an hour of your time. This was awesome.
It was a blast. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, we're going to do lots of different media things this year. Like at the events, we're going to bring all the podcast equipment, and we got like a mobile studio we're setting up. So maybe we can have you by at Nebo, and you can kind of talk about what bike you're riding this year or something like that, and see what you think of Arkansas.
Yeah, totally. That would be awesome.
Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you so much, Isabella. Appreciate your time. And everybody, thank you for listening to the last episode or the next episode of Beyond the Rod. So thanks so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.